Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's Tidbit. This subject is near and dear to my heart, especially more as I build this position at Growing Years. And we're going to talk about, let's talk about postpartum depression. And we want to start talking about it before it happens. And that's kind of my vision here. The way that I wanted to start off this video is a quote from a mom that really inspired me to dive into this. So her quote was, "I wish my doctor spoke to me about postpartum depression before I had my baby." This was a parent who struggled for almost the whole first year before they were diagnosed with postpartum depression, and they do reflect that it just was not spoken about early, and that they felt that if they were spoken to about it early, that it could have helped them significantly. So that's kind of a purpose here that I really want to bring into our tidbit today. Hopefully for parents who jump onto our YouTube, but also to encourage even like service providers that we should be talking about it during pregnancy, to try and prepare somebody with the thought of postpartum before having baby. So not just the blues. About 80% of postpartum mothers have the baby blues. It's a short period after giving birth that's filled with bouts of sadness, anxiety, stress, and mood swings. 4 out of 5 new moms report experiencing these feelings. So obviously this is very normal. This is a thing that people do feel very commonly right after you have baby. If you're still feeling sad, anxious, or overwhelmed after the 2 weeks of postpartum, you may have postpartum depression. The baby blues typically only last those 2 weeks, and they don't usually last longer than the 2 weeks. So when you're seeing it prolonging, that's when we're going to start looking into postpartum depression. How do I know that I have postpartum depression? You could have strong feelings of sadness or emptiness, constant fatigue, even after resting and having a full sleep. Have trouble sleeping, or feeling like you just want to sleep all the time. Uncomfortable crying, and usually very often. Losing interest in activities in activities in which you normally enjoy on a regular basis. Trouble concentrating or making decisions, changes in your appetite or your weight, the feeling of hopelessness, like you're feeling trapped or worthless, worrying a lot about your baby's health or safety, no interest or pleasure in your baby, and scary thoughts or fears about harming your baby. If you're experiencing any of the following for 2 weeks or more, that's when we really encourage you that you have to talk to a healthcare provider. Even if these things are scary that you were experiencing, all the more better they will understand, and you need to go to a healthcare provider. So risk factors, while not all causes are known, the following factors have been identified as predictions as to if you could be kind of like predisposed to postpartum depression. And then among other things as well, but here are a few. So a history of depression, low self-esteem, just life stress. If life in general around you is very stressful, it could definitely impact that. Prenatal depression or anxiety, low social support around you, poor marital relationship status, or even just being a single parent, right? Like just that lack of support in general, I think could really contribute to that. Unplanned or an unwanted pregnancy or even maternal age can contribute to postpartum. This is intense. I don't feel normal. it can feel this extreme, guys. And that's why it's so important to talk about these things and normalize them. Because in extreme cases, these symptoms can become postpartum psychosis, where a woman may be having hallucinations and or thought of hurting themselves or others. And in these cases, you do not want to wait. You do not want to hesitate. You want to get yourself help immediately. And don't be scared to seek this help. This is a common thing with postpartum depression going into postpartum psychosis. And what they want you, we want you to reach out for help. It is a condition. What to do if you think you are experiencing postpartum depression? So share what you're experiencing with a loved one or a safe support person in your life. Postpartum is easily treated with medication or surrounding yourself with the right resources like social support, psychotherapy, support groups. So just like our whole baby love groups or our groups at Growing Years, healthy diet, healthy and consistent sleep habits, which I know was really hard, when you just had a baby. And home visits or with home visitors. So anywhere from even just I know not at this moment, obviously with COVID, but in a normal world, we usually do have people who can come into our homes and support us, our families, our friends, or even home visitors like Families First and different things like that that can just encourage you just to have this adult conversation. I think is really important in knowing that you have people to back you. The first and most important step is educating people what postpartum depression is and that others are not alone in this. I think sharing these things and making it become like just showing the normalcy of postpartum depression, showing that people aren't afraid to talk about it, have like advocacy towards it, breaking the stigma. I think it's very, very important because then we're going to move forward with this and be able to help more people. New studies have even found that dads can suffer from postpartum depression as well. Why not? As a result of exhaustion and life changing, your lifestyle changing and everything else and life stress like we were talking about before, why wouldn't dad feel this change or somebody who identifies as dad, right? And just know that there is help out there and we will be including lots of local resources in Manitoba who can help you when you are experiencing postpartum depression. So when to see a doctor. So signs and symptoms of postpartum depression or anxiety that doesn't fade after the 2 weeks, like we said earlier. If it is getting worse, not improving, you want to go see a doctor. If it makes it hard for you to take care of your baby and taking care of yourself, make it hard to complete everyday tasks, like just doing your everyday kind of life stuff, and include thoughts of harming yourself or your baby, and that realistically, yes, postpartum depression can get this intense, but reaching out for help, it's intense, but it is normal in a when you are sitting in postpartum depression or anxiety. Okay, so that's why we want you to reach out for help. What can we do to support our mental health? Kind of like mental health, I like self-care in general. There's this saying like we gotta take care of ourselves in order of like a pre way to take care of ourselves so that like maintaining our self-care so that we can continue to care for others. So what you can do is get educated. So knowledge is power, of course, reading up, seeking for information, lower expectations. So what I think that means is, like if you're not getting to the laundry or different things that could be stressing you out, just lower your expectations of kind of everything around you, and you're doing the best that you can, and to maybe delegate when you're needing rest to when you are doing something, and just kind of lower your expectations in general around you. Seek support and connection, even if it's virtual. We know that that's kind of our world right now, but do not underestimate how virtual, like just having a conversation and just letting us know how your day is going, just that form of connection is still going to help you. Even if the virtual thing is not really your thing, I promise you, it's still a sense of connection. Focus on the positive. So maybe do different things that you can focus on. Like we've talked about affirmations before, saying positive things to yourself inside your brain and keep on saying it towards yourself. Gratitude journal, even saying to yourself of what you're grateful for that day. Gratitude discussions. Get outside, get yourself moving. It doesn't have to be a marathon. Go and check the mail, get a little bit of fresh air, step outside, and just give yourself a moment if you can. Any little bit is going to help. Avoid the comparison trap. So I think what is meant by that would be of comparing. We have this vision of what we should be as a parent or as a mom, and looking at how other people function and how well other people are doing. We cannot compare ourselves to somebody else. What is easy for somebody else isn't necessarily easy for us, and we need to avoid that comparison trap. Just so it avoids like that feeling of inadequacy. We are doing the best that we can, and we can't kind of judge what's good for us by looking at what somebody else's world looks like, right? And talk about it. Please ask for help. Please ask for help for somebody in your family, your friends, whoever you're feeling safe with COVID, your circle, even if it's like somebody on the phone, us at Growing Years, or any sort of resource center that could help you. Any sort of help is going to help you. So please ask for help. And of course, when the stuff is going on, we are so hard on ourselves. So where often you may be asking yourself, if you're feeling postpartum depression, you're going to be wondering, am I a good parent? You're going to be questioning and feeling down on yourself. So the quote here, which is very common, I feel like the worst parent in the world. I don't think that I can do this anymore. That's an overall very heavy feeling as a parent. You may not feel like yourself or the joy that you think that you should be feeling when you have a new baby, but postpartum depression does not reflect who you are as a parent at all. And it can affect anyone. It doesn't matter who you are. It can affect anybody, and it's not your fault. And actually, up to 20% of postpartum parents experience a deep depression, which lasts much longer than the few days of baby blues. Many suffer in silence, and we don't need to do this anymore, guys. We don't. You need to talk to somebody, or you may feel too ashamed to even seek for help. But that's why we need to bring normalcy to this, because there's nothing to be ashamed about. We really got to be kind to ourselves when we're feeling these these deep feelings and thoughts, and don't be afraid to ask for help. I'm going to say that I could say that 5 billion times in this video, and I don't think it's going to matter, because that's how important it is. And reach out to resources in your area, and I'm going to help you do that as well. So if I'm sending this as an email support, if I'm sending it, or if we're having it on our Facebook and our YouTube, under the YouTube description, I usually put any sort of local resources. We do have quite a few that will help you. But I always feel like when it comes to postpartum depression resources in our area, we do the ones that we do have are wonderful, but I still feel like that we just are not, that we're dropping the ball and that we just need more and we need more support in this. But please make sure that you reach out to these resources. A lot of the people we have been in contact with in general, like Jennifer Hanslip with the Postpartum Depression International. She's wonderful. She has like a line that you can phone. We do have a postpartum Warmline that has been off and on, and there's lots of these resources that you can reach out to. So please do it. Same with Coping with Change with the Women's Health Center. They do sessions off and on throughout the year, and really quite often. And we highly suggest that as well. So all of that will be down below. And I hope with seeing those resources and reading this and knowing how common it is, that you know that you are not alone and that you've got this and we are here for you. It is a real thing, and lots of parents are feeling it or have felt it already. Thank you very much for listening in. You could obviously tell that this is something that I'm really passionate about. Reach out to us, and you guys have a good day.